brain mush and technical snafus. That's great.
Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts,
I'm Brigitte Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko. Welcome back to What the Biz. I'm Dan Prochko, joined here by the ever pleasant and wonderful Brigitte Vector.
Oh,
how's it going?
You're so kind today.
We're leading into 4th of July. You got any plans?
I am actually headed out of town tonight. Actually, when we are done recording this, I am hitting the road. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those quick, hurry up, get out of here kind of things. I gotcha.
No, not necessarily. I've got the time blocked out. But yeah, we're headed out. Husband is doing some fishing tournaments this weekend, so he will join us later in the weekend. So it'll be me and the kiddos, and yeah, gearing up for a hopefully relaxing 4th of July week. How about you?
Heading to Chicago. I'm gonna visit my parents.
Nice.
They have come to us. You know, that happens. You get to that age, it's just like, which way are we going? Are we going your way, or are you coming our way? And they've been coming our way a lot. So it's like, okay, we have to go that way now. I didn't mean for that to come out and sound like that was a horrendous burden. I love going back. It's where I grew up. So there's like a lot of cool stuff that has changed. And it's actually fun going back and being like, that restaurant isn't there anymore. Oh my God, it's a cool new coffee shop that's even better than the one that was there before. I don't know. It's like it's cool seeing how things change. Most of the stuff doesn't change. So it's always great going back. I like it. Yeah. We got some cool stuff on the plan. Some a new distillery opened up in the town where I grew up. Hadn't had one, and then about 3 years ago popped up. We just haven't had a chance to go there. So we're going to do that. There's another fairly new brewery called Goldfinger. They only do lagers and lager style beers. Like that's it. That's all they do. And I love it. I love that whole style and that whole branch of the beer tree. So we're planning on going there, play some golf with my dad. He's got that over 65 membership that I guess everybody gets when they hit that age. And
something to look forward to.
Yeah, he plays every day. So I think it's going to be the first time in my life that he actually beats me. Because I've not played, I think, in over a year. So he's going to demolish me, and that's okay. He deserves it. He deserves it. So
that sounds like fun. It'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you a big firework person? Kids?
Not necessarily. They do a really nice show over that'll be going on. They do like a boat parade. Like everybody decorates their boats on the lake and whatnot. So yeah. Otherwise, not. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I can take it or leave it.
I love them. Yo, okay. So you're take it or leave it. I love them. I absolutely love them. I want to be as close as possible. Anywhere
raining on your head.
You got it. No, we've been that close before. What is it here in Portage, Michigan, at the Portage Northern High School or whatever? They do a big show, and we sat one year really close to the football field, which is where they shoot them from. They don't let you on the field or the stands. You got to sit behind. But we were really close, and the wind, I guess, was blowing in a way where all the ash was coming down onto all of us and everything. We were that close. And my thing is, like, if you don't feel it through your chest, you're not close enough. So I'm a little crazy because, yeah, I know they can kill you and everything, but I just love it. Always have.
It's a risk really you're willing to take.
It is. I don't know what it is. Something about it. I really, really enjoy it.
That's awesome.
Bigger the boom, the better. Bigger the boom. Yeah.
So they have a nice show where where you will be at in Chicago.
Yeah. No, in the burbs by me, they where I grew up, they or where my parents are at and everything. Yeah, they've got a couple good shows actually. They've scoped it out, and since I've been there, different shows now exist, and they've scoped out like if you go here, you can see like 4 shows at the same time, and it's just like, oh, that's hilarious. And they're like, some of them start early and end early. Like there's one that's like 7 o'clock for 20 minutes, and then there's another one at like 8, and then there's the big one at 9. So you could like show up and just hang out, drink at the park. 4th of July, nobody cares, and so it's like that's it. Yeah, it's gonna be. We'll see. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna do. I mean, weather permitting, obviously. Yeah. Crossing fingers, but yeah. So love it.
We don't need you let down because of weather canceling.
I know, right?
Fireworks.
I mean, that heat dome they called it. That was crazy. So we don't need a rain dome now. So
right. I think the heat dome is gone.
Yeah. So we've been talking about on the last few weeks about areas of the business to focus on if you're feeling like there's a downturn or you're feeling like you want to grow or things aren't moving fast enough. And last week we talked about what we deemed the secret business killer, capacity. And this week is really the top of the funnel. We're going all the way to the top. We're going to marketing. We're going to where I play and where I live all the time. This is going to be fun.
Reminds me of the song "Moving On Up" or something. No, I'm going to sing that in my head the whole time.
Do it. No, do it out loud.
No. We want people to listen, not be like, "Oh, we are out."
So we are gonna explore that topic today. It's a big topic. I don't think we can cover everything. I have kind of like, what do I have? I got like 3 key things that I would share in this area that I'm gonna kind of go over, and I'm sure there'll be some like real world examples I'll think of. I feel like that's something I want to start bringing. I don't know if you're a listener and you want to hear like real world examples and have us link to real stuff. Let us know, because that, okay, it's more work on our shoulder, fine, but if you find it valuable, let's do it. I know I've done a lot specifically in marketing that I can share. So how do you look at the marketing topic? Where do you start?
Well, you're the marketing expert, so we're gonna let you run with this, because when I think about marketing, I get really stressed out. So we're gonna let you run.
Okay, let's see if we can simplify this thing a little bit. Yeah. So marketing, lead gen. So when we're talking about like business being slow, where I go to for marketing is it's really lead generation. Of course, if you're in e-commerce, you're talking purchases, but you really got to start off with, am I attracting the right people? And so I take a look at it from the angle of a sales funnel, still a sales funnel. Okay. But there's a marketing funnel above the sales funnel. Okay. So it's funnel into a funnel, which is kind of a funny graphic, but so there's 3 stages, and I'm sure people have heard of these. I think I even talked about them before, but there's your awareness stage. You've got your consideration stage and your decision stage. And I think some people kind of misunderstand those a little bit, which is why some people get tripped up. There's at the very top, the awareness stage. And when we think awareness, a lot of people think, oh, do they know about my services? And it's like, no, you're too far down the funnel. You're already too far down the funnel. The awareness stage is just, do they just know your business, period? Like, have they even come across your stuff? And this might be my favorite stage, because it really is the most creative of all of them, in my opinion, because this is where it's pre-services. You get to talk about hot topics. You get to share your expertise on like trending things in the industry, or things that are top of mind to your customer. Talk about pain points, et cetera. And really this section is like, when somebody's has a problem and they're doing a Google search to solve that problem, that's awareness right there. So it's like, I got ants coming in through my window. How do I stop ants coming in? Bam, that's an awareness topic. Or my toilet's backed up. How do I declog it or whatever? Bam, what do I do? There we go. The number 1. Or I see mold. I think I see mold. What do I do next? What does mold look like? Those are all awareness topics, because they have nothing to do with our services, but they have everything to do with the pain that someone is feeling, that need, that they have something that needs solved. And so whatever we do for marketing in the awareness level needs to target that. What do you have in that area? What do you do on that awareness level right now?
Well, I was actually going to ask you a question about that.
Sure. Done. If we want this to just be a whole interview of me today, that's fine. But I know you're doing some cool stuff. You're doing a lot of cool things, because I see things out there, but yeah, go for it.
Well, so when I mentioned that marketing stresses me out, I think it's because we see this abundance of options, right? Like oh God, the world is overflowing with all of these things that you should, or you could, or go dance on TikTok, right? Like all of that craziness. So I love how you were bringing it back to the point of just awareness, what pain point are you solving? So for somebody that is just trying to get that point of what are my customers searching for? Do you have a tip to keep it simple of this is what I would do if I wanted to find one awareness piece that I should be talking about?
Yeah. One of the cool things that we do is that we use or a tool to help figure out what we should be writing about. We go really scientific about this. Is if you install Google Search Console onto your website, which is Google's SEO tool, where you can see, are your pages in the index? Where are they ranking? You get to see what keywords people are literally searching that you show up for. And in there are questions like how, when, and what. So it's just like how to do something, or when should I do blank, or when should I call a service provider or a professional, or what does it mean to when I see this? or what does something look like or feel like? Those types of questions are all awareness questions. People are they're just diving into this topic. They're not sure what they're actually looking for. And so in Search Console, we can actually see the exact questions people are asking that we show up for, which for one shows us that we have some SEO awareness in that realm, but it helps us to identify, we should fill some of these out with more stuff, and or what questions am I not seeing that I should be seeing? We need more content for that. So we use that kind of a tool, but others as well in that realm. But yeah, it's a lot of fun in this area, because this is where you get to just have some fun with customer problems. You can have fun videos or educational videos. They don't have to all be fun, but they can be. So I really like awareness at that level. And I love what you say about abundance of options. Like, everybody thinks you need to be cute or you need to do something super flashy. Truthfully, you don't. It's funny because we go online. Let's use social media for an example. We go into social media because of entertainment, or so we think. But a lot of people go because, one, they want to learn, they want to be informed. And which is funny to say, because not that social media truly informs you with like truth a lot of the times, because I'll be honest, but the idea is like perspectives. We want to see perspectives. And so, if we're going to share stuff on social, we can't be salesy, because nobody is there to shop. Everybody's there to engage and do something for entertainment or learning or education, in the sense of perspectives and ideas and other things. So if we're going to use social media for a way to be aware or for awareness, then it needs to be in one of those categories. And so we need to teach or inform. And if you find a clever way to do it, great. If you don't, it's okay. It'll still work. So that's the awareness phase. From there, there's the consideration phase. This is where services come in. This is where you start talking about, like, you want to answer, if you have content or elements, that you're making, it's why. And pretty much why. Or what to do, like use this service, and why you need it. All of that would be in that consideration phase. Now, again, I'm talking about this content, like people literally move in these phases linearly. They don't, they bounce back and forth. We all bounce back and forth. We learn something new. Nope, I got to go back and research some more. Okay, now I'm back in the consideration phase, but this is all like why and what service, why and services. So great service pages, case studies, are great here in terms of what solutions others have used and what their outcomes have been. Like, that really, really helps in that consideration phase. And then any questions on that one, since we're doing this interview style here?
Since I'm like, Dan, tell us all the secrets. Not necessarily. I think my opinion on this phase is this is where it's really important. We touched on this a couple of times in our previous episodes about knowing what you're providing, right? So if your service page doesn't make sense to you, it isn't going to make sense to somebody in the consideration page. So you hit it with a really good service page or really good packaging offers or whatever that looks like. Being really important. So
one of the FAQ, anything that clarifies the service, clarifies what's included, benefits, features, all that clarity is really important for this phase.
So what is your recommendation for people to make sure that they are maybe tracking or having a way to re-engage with some that maybe checked out pieces of service page but never bought, never reached out, never had a consult? Like, there's got to be things that as business owners we should be doing to avoid some downturns by opportunity we might just be overlooking.
No, for sure. I flip that kind of on its head, because it's not your customers you're looking at. You're now looking at, because it's the funnel at the top. So one is looking at, are we getting the people in and are we maintaining them? There's some cool things around using tracking pixels, where one can create audiences and thus track who's gone through the funnel, not literally their individual identity and who they are, although there are ways, and there's really cool, I've really done it, where you can track actual people with like their email address, and like when you send emails, they click it, they go through the site, you can see what pages they visit, visit, how deep they get, how often they return. And it's really, really cool. There's very specific reasons to go that granular and whatnot. Most businesses don't need that whatsoever. That leads to a whole different type of efficiency. But for the most part, if you're using social ads, Google ads, you can create pixels for audiences where you can then track and see who's visited service pages and then didn't convert. They came, but they didn't convert. You can target them with ads to get them back. Other ways to try and capitalize on audiences like that, or to have downloadables. This is exactly why webinars exist, PDF freebies, ebooks, access to pre-recorded videos or resource, libraries that require emails. This is why those exist, because when someone fills one of those out, you pretty much know what phase they're in. They're in that consideration phase for the most part, because the decision phase, which comes next, that's all about the quote. Do we have the right reviews to get someone to actually convert? Is it easy for them to convert, etc.? If they've hit the decision phase and contacting you, they're already there because they're filling out a quote form or calling you. So that consideration phase and awareness is so important to actually try and identify them or get them to volunteer their information to say, hey, I'm actually interested and you can contact me, because you know where they're at in that funnel. That really helps you a lot, because then you can target them with other things related to the topic of what they're looking for and follow up. And if nothing comes of it, you get to nurture them into the future with all the topics and things you do. And potentially timing didn't line up right now, budget didn't line up right now, or maybe you didn't have the right trust signals, but down the line you will, because if they just came and they've only seen one thing and downloaded, there isn't high trust, let's just say. But 6 months later, maybe there is, So those are, I rambled a ton. And did that make any sense in terms of what they should do? What one can do? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So you build from awareness. You got to start with awareness. You move into your conversion part, right? And then you're moving into the decision. It's really a 3 level, but they all, and I love what you said. Somebody can move in between all of these levels many different times throughout their lifespan.
Totally.
With you. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 3 key questions that I kind of use, where I workshop myself through it and I've workshopped some clients through it. The first one is what are my target customers looking for at each stage? So literally have a table and you have awareness, consideration, decision, and column 1 is topics. Okay. And you're literally just writing in topics of what are they looking for in this stage as it relates to my business. Then the next question I ask is, how do they want to learn or ingest that information? And so literally in column 2, you literally write for the awareness phase, what are the channels we're going to use? Are we going to blog? Are we going to video this? Or is this meant to be in person on a webinar, etc.? Are these printed booklets? And depending on the topic and your niche and industry, it's going to be different. Okay. And then the third question, and so I do that for all 3 phases: awareness, consideration, decision. Got all the topics. Now we know our channels. Then comes the last question, which is, how are we going to get this content in front of our target audience? And so that's the so the second channel was format, and then now this last column is channel. Are we going to use social media, advertising, email, SEO as the delivery mechanism for getting all of this content and these formats into people's hands? Because there's no such thing as the field of dreams. If you build it, they will not come. And I know that's what SEO is, but SEO has active work one must do. So even that is not, if you build it, they will come. There's still active work that has to be done. So there's no such thing as just, oh, I have a pretty website, or I made a Facebook page. Why isn't my business growing? I post on it every day. I will tell you, I have thousands of stories of people saying that over and over and over again. And the moment we start advertising, or the moment, they start actively engaging in groups somewhere or going to networking events, things start to happen. So those are the 3 questions. What are my target customers looking for at each stage? How do they want to learn about that at each stage? And how are we going to get this content in front of them in each stage? And so if you build all of that out, you pretty much just nurture someone all the way down to giving you money, is really what it is. So that's how we approach the marketing for our clients and ourselves.
Brilliant. I love the, if you build it, they will come, because yes, that is not how this works. It is not a I have services and everybody knows about it, or I have this product and now everybody knows about it. You know how many bazillions of people and businesses are out there that we don't know about because we just haven't haven't stumbled into their world yet. I mean, if you just think about new discoveries you've even had in the past week of like, I had no idea that this person existed and they've been around for like 20 plus years and you're just now entering their world. Yes. Yeah, I
was just at a networking event yesterday, ran into somebody who's in home care. I don't need home care, which is why they've not been in my sphere of influence whatsoever. But here they are at the networking event. They've been around, they've literally been operating for 30 years. And I've never heard of this company and I've never run into this person and just happened to be there. Like, so yeah, there's no such thing as if you build it, they will come. And, answering these questions and, just have a cycle for it. Every 6 months, revisit these questions, come up with your new plan, execute, do it again, execute, and just measure what are my outcomes through all of it. That's a whole other thing to talk about, analytics and marketing and outcomes and forecasting and other things. I don't even know if that could happen on audio. We'll have to talk more about that. But yeah.
How good are you at explaining, Dan?
I could talk forever. I don't know that I'll make much sense.
So some of the best advice that I've gotten so far, and I say so far because I feel like I'm always getting good advice that pans out well. But you hit it with that just being on social media is not like a key to the kingdom by any means. However, consistency and staying true to yourself is a huge key. Because if you start down a path of, building awareness around something that either doesn't match what you want it to be, and you're just trying to get the views, that will end up hurting you in the long run. And that brings me to the brand consistency piece. And I think figuring out, what is your brand and what is the voice. And if you don't want to be making 50 TikTok videos a week, just don't start down that path. You will find your right path, like by staying true to yourself, staying true to your brand and what actually fits into your schedule. And because we are just so overwhelmed with how many options there are out there, one tiny thing being done consistently will still move mountains for you. You don't have to be doing everything under the sun to bring people into your funnel. Just small, consistent actions, in my opinion, make a world of difference.
So true. Yeah, so true. I think I've said this before. 1% improvement day over day is a 3,000% improvement over the course of 1 year. Like, if you're just crazy? That's nuts. 1% better every day. So if you had $1.01, then $1, or then 1% better than that, then 1% better than that, you'd be at $3,000. That is a huge growth. So when people are like, and I love that what you're saying is like, we get paralyzed because we think we need to be perfect, or we need to do, if we're on Facebook, we also need Instagram. Oh my God, if we're going to do video, we need TikTok and YouTube. Oh, don't forget Reels and Instagram, and it's just like, no, you don't. Pick one, the one that you think is best for you, and just do it really well. That's it. Just the one thing. It could be networking events. It could be real world stuff. That's fine. If you just want to do events, that's cool too. It's just a different channel. Just do it well. I'm so with you. I love that. I'm so with you.
Yep. We have slowly been implementing things for my business. And I say slowly because marketing still overwhelms me. But we have found that writing some blog posts around things that we're already talking about is something that we can easily do and has an impact. Webinars. So I've added in a monthly webinar that anybody's invited to. I enjoy that. I always have a topic. It isn't a heavy lift, but it's huge value. So that's like, to me right now, that works and that's good enough. And it's one way that somebody can become aware of us, become aware of our, what we offer. So even we aren't doing a huge abundance of things. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on YouTube, but we don't have those channels, but just little tiny things that we're implementing to bring people into that awareness piece of our funnel. Is there more we could be doing? Yep. And that's why Dan is my expert that I need to listen to and rely on. But yeah,
there is so much that we can always be doing, but it's like you said, I mean, there's even a book called The One Thing about this, from the founder of Keller Williams or one of, at least was a co-writer on that or whatever. And it's all about focus on that one thing that makes you great. There's more to it than that, but as it relates to marketing, where's that one place that you can be great? Just do that. It's fine. Yeah. There's always so much more we can do. I feel like I'm always overstretching, or what's that called? Overreaching, spreading myself thin. There we go. I'm always spreading myself too thin, trying to do more. And it's really easy to fall into that because, for instance, you're doing the webinars and the first thing that came to my mind is, oh my God, record those. Yeah. Then edit those down into shorts. Oh my God, if it was great, turn them into medium-sized these videos and put them on YouTube. And then, oh my God, if it was really that good, just gate it. Now make it a gated piece of content and then promote the gated thing. And I'm just like, wait. That's all the other stuff. The point is like, let's just get at having a webinar and promoting. Like, let's just get good at that before we go into 9,000 other things. And that's just an example of where our brains go, and can go about things.
And then we become paralyzed.
Right. And they become paralyzed. It's like, oh my God, I have to really edit this because it's not that great. If I'm putting it on TikTok, I need like funny swipe ins and, oh, what's the new sound? I got to use that. And it's just like, oh my God, now you're never going to get it done. It's it can be really, really paralyzing.
So this actually brings me back to, we have an episode talking about outsourcing. We recorded this a while ago. And this is one of those topics that, like even I recognize I probably should be outsourcing much more of our marketing, because the impact that would have by working with a professional would pay for itself if you're working with the right person. I may know somebody that I am speaking to right now with a philosophy of, how you guys provide those services. You're able to track, right, what's happening, which is one of the most important things if you're going to work with somebody. Like this brings back to, if you want to do things, you don't have to do it yourself. And us as entrepreneurs wear so many hats. We should think about the things that would be best outsourced for biggest impact. So if you're feeling that downturn and you're not getting that awareness funnel, it's probably worth exploring partnering with an expert in this. So you can build those sales that you're like, I'm lacking in sales. What do I do? Find an expert. That's what they do.
And look, it can be small. You make a great point. I mean, that's one reason why we outsourced all of our bookkeeping to your team, was like, look, that may have only taken me an hour a week. Let's just, for the most part, on average. But those 4 hours were like the most painful 4 hours of my life. And what can I do with 4 hours a month now? Okay. I mean, I can write a blog post in an hour now. I can put together a concept for a webinar in an hour. I can do 20 to 30 cold calls in an hour. I can go to a networking event and meet some new people and possibly a new client, all of which can lead to so much more value than me myself doing the categorizations of transactions. That's not where I should be focusing, So totally spot on there. Totally spot on. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Every time I'm thinking about how would I do this, or how would I get this, or how do I build that Google ad? I'm like, no, why are you going to spend time researching this when you just have an expert to do that?
Well, you said something really important here, was just like, if you're going to go down this route of marketing and doing that one thing well, you have to measure it, whatever it is. And so often there's many people that work off of emotion and intuition. And intuition is great. It's really great, because usually one intuits things because you're picking up on trends and patterns and other things. There's some probable truth in that. Okay. And those feelings and that intuition should be tested to show whether it actually is true or not. I love intuition. And when people have intuition, I love it even more when they're willing to put it to the test, because it's easy for us to think something is working when it's actually not. We get confused with busyness with success, or vanity with success. I hear so many people saying, oh my God, my post had no likes on Facebook. You put those ads out there and I didn't see anything in comments. And I'm like, well, was the point of the ad to get comments? No, it was to get quote requests. Okay. And you got 100 of those last month at the cost of, well below your industry average. Why are we complaining about comments right now? And that's when they all go, oh, you're right. I don't know why I'm talking about that. So when we do that one thing, we want to be really clear as to why we're doing that one thing. So what's the thing we measure that means we're doing it well?
And then love that you just said that. I actually just listened to another podcast that talked about this exact thing, that they mentioned, and the way that they were actually interviewing somebody. She has like a multi-7-figure business, and they were baffled because her social media following is so small of how she got to that level. And she said, likes do not mean sales, but views could turn into reach outs, conversions, sales, quotes, proposals, and engagement. So it's all on the backside. Your likes do not necessarily mean that you are doing something wrong. Like if you aren't getting them, what's happening on the back end? Are you getting sales out of what you're putting out? So I love that you mentioned that, because we live in a world that measures on likes and views and emoji
measure what matters. Measure what actually matters.
Yes.
So yeah.
So I have one last question for you before if you're wrapping up. But what is your recommended time frame that somebody tests something for? Because I know people will dip their toes in a funnel of water and only spend like, oh, it's not working after this week. What's your time frame? What do you recommend?
So it's different per channel because of the time horizon for something to pan out. For instance, SEO. If you're writing blog posts specifically to rank on Google or doing improvements to like your Google business profile, Yelp page, etc., you're looking at anywhere from 8 to 18 months to reach the full potential. So that means if you write one post, you need to wait 8 to 18 months to see what the outcome of that one post is. Now that's a bit insane to wait that long. Okay, meaning, and then on top of it, SEO is a compounding benefit. So the more of it you do, the more authority you build in a space in the eyes of search engines. Thus, you rank more for many more keywords. And when you cross-link to all your posts, everything rises in the rank. So you can't do it for just 1 month and then see what happens, because you have an 8 to 18 month kind of plateau to see like where everything's at. You start to get signals after 3 months. But if you're going to go into SEO, it's a year minimum to 2 years. It's honestly more like a 1.5 to 2 year minimum if you're going to actually go into SEO. Doing it for like 3 months and then thinking it's not going to work, it doesn't work because it hasn't yet. You haven't done it long enough. Then there's things like advertising. And this is all based on budget now. You need to get to 10 to 15 conversions to start to understand how well something is working. So if you're only going to if your average conversion, and we see this across multiple industries, an average conversion is usually between $30 to $50. Okay? Across most industries, it's just $30 to $50. If you're only going to spend $100 a month, you're only going to get 2 conversions. Anybody who spends that little and gets 2 conversions is going to say this doesn't work. So to think that $100 should get you 10 conversions is insane. It's not going to. Okay. And so when you work with a professional or with the team that actually knows the numbers, they can tell you what's realistic and what that time frame is. We find that budgets over $1,000 on advertising can start to produce real results after about 1.5 months. Okay. They get to their plateau. Anything over $2,000 a month, you hit it in less than 30 days. There's just so much data and so many conversions that things get good and smart. But you get results from ads pretty much immediately. You'll get results within your first week. If you have a decent budget that somebody has really recommended based on the research and understanding what conversions are, you'll get results within your first week. Then there's other things like email. Email is so cheap. People don't get how inexpensive email is. Sure, you might be paying $200 a month for your Keep platform, Constant Contact, etc. But how many contacts are you allowed to have? 5,000? And you're able to send unlimited emails a month? Okay. So say you're sending 1 email a week to 5,000 people. That's 20,000 email. $200 divided by 20,000 is 1 cent per email. Like, how, if you were able to send marketing messages to people for 1 cent per person, how many emails would you have to send before you said this doesn't work? 100 emails is only $1. Like, why would I say that doesn't work yet? I've only spent $1. Because the other way you have to think about this is, okay, if it cost me $50 to get a conversion through ads, what's $50 worth in email? That's what, 5,000 emails? Hopefully your email works way better than that. But my point is like, if you actually start comparing some things, it's like, I have to send at least 5,000 email before I say something doesn't work. You know what I mean? So, and if you're sending 1 campaign of 5,000 emails, something's going to convert. Just the rule of numbers and statistics states something's going to happen. So it's like, I'm getting really nerdy about statistics here and numbers, but this is how a lot of in terms of rationally deciding does something work or not work, we have to put things into perspective. Email is so cheap, you just do it because it literally costs you $0 to do. And if you know statistics, you get why it's $0. I don't even want to go through the math. That's going to break my brain right now, let alone others. But if you're sending emails consistently with great messages, you're going to start getting results. You're going to start converting leads that didn't close right away. You're going to start upselling customers and retaining customers longer because of the trust that you build. there's so much value there. I would put that also on a very long time scale because it's so inexpensive. You know, if you're going to do an email newsletter and email nurturing automation, I mean, do it for a good year and then go back and see what did we get from it? How can we improve? I just got on a soapbox like crazy there. It's really just like have a time frame in mind and a realistic budget and evaluate. And that evaluation is not about cutting it or not cutting it. That evaluation should really be, how do we make this better? And then after you do that 2 or 3 times, then if it's still not working, okay, maybe cut, or maybe you're with the wrong provider, or maybe, you know, you need a provider, you know, you're trying to do it yourself, but you don't have the technology chops to make it work. Because I've said before, like for advertising, it's all AI. If you don't send the right signals in, it don't work. So you really have to set up the right JavaScript, the tracking tags to send the info everywhere. So it is technical. And if you're just going to boost posts on Facebook, you're probably not going to get the results you want. Probably. You might, but probably not. Yeah. So man, I just soapbox. I'm off of it. I feel like I just ranted.
I love it because I feel like there are unrealistic expectations because everybody is only seeing what they are seeing. They are not seeing everything that is behind the scenes. They are not seeing how much is going into that. You may be seeing one post, but that person may have had 70 different posts in 70 different avenues at any given time by a marketing team of 100 different people. Like you don't see everything behind the scenes. And so I think a lot of us set ourselves up for this unrealistic expectation, and we end or pull out of testing things too soon. And we may have been on the verge of when that actually would have started converting. So like it's that commitment piece of, if you know that what you're selling is needed and you have your messaging dialed in, you have to commit to what you're going to be doing, and it will pay off in the long run.
Yeah. I run into this the most with advertising because for any new industry that we go into, we don't know what all the perfect keywords are, but we have a system for getting to it. And so if the budget is large enough, we can get there faster because we're getting in front of so many searches. We get to focus those keywords in, filter out what doesn't make sense, teach Google these things are part of our service, these are not, and find that those quality searches that bring quality traffic to the website that just explode conversions from there up to the plateau of the spend. There's competition and other stuff going on. So but that's where we see it most, because we'll get budgets where it's like, I want to spend $300 a month. I tell them it's going to take 6 months to get this where we need it to be. And they're like, that's $1,800. I'm like, right. And if you spent $2,000 this first month, we'd get it there in 1 month. And like that like doesn't ever compute for them. You know, they're like, oh my God, I got to go for 6 whole months. It's like, yeah, we got to hit a certain level. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it.
All right. So what's next for you?
Yeah. Well, we're wrapping up the training video courses. I'm actually building an internal team training along with it. So that's really exciting because I realized that I don't want to keep repeating the training. Like I was like, why haven't I recorded this at this point? But that's really silly. So I am moving into working smarter, not harder in life. I thought I learned this 50 times over, but we're learning it again. So yeah, wrapping up that and diving into some more coaching.
Nice. Those training videos, some of those are public, right? I mean, not like public, but to clients or whatever they're paying. How long did those take to make? How do you think, how long is it gonna take in total to make it all?
I don't honestly, I think recording wise, I'll probably have a few hours into it. Like the one is setting up your QuickBooks in an hour or less. So my goal is to have videos that are less than an hour.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Right.
So that it's just bite-sized chunks. Like I'm doing 5-minute like actionable videos. So if somebody had to walk away, they're not like, coming back to a whole huge video. And then internal videos, I'm just doing like pieces of the company at one time. So as I'm working on something, I'm kind of like diving in and just recording it. So,
yeah, but the planning of all of it took longer than like an hour and a half though. Like that's what I'm getting at. Like not just the recording piece, but like the planning of what each video is going to be. Like how long has that process for you been so far?
I honestly, I don't know cumulative because we just kind of have been doing it so like the QuickBooks in an hour, we've built it out as we were actually adding clients and building their QuickBooks. We were just documenting everything.
So years, right?
Through.
So this is years of experience going into it. Yeah, it's
Correct.
amazing how people are like, oh yeah, it's gonna take like give me like 5 hours. I'll have like a whole course. I'm like, no, you won't.
Oh no,
No
this
way.
is
No way.
like 20 years of back end accounting experience that I have figured out what somebody needs to know to get through with their business and like do it right-ish to kick it off, right? Because they're not an accountant. It'd be like me saying, oh, I can go do Dan's job as marketing. We all know that I can't. So our goal is to have something functional that somebody can set up in an hour to not completely tank their business finances until they can work with a professional. Like that's really what it comes down to. So, yeah, we're putting 20 plus years of my brain into a 1 hour video.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. So not me is what you're saying. You don't want people to be like me who show up, who think they did it all right, and then you have to go back 5 years and fix everything. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think I was that bad, but anyway.
Absolutely not. We love the cleanup jobs. Those are our favorite.
Yeah, you've done a lot of them. You've done a ton of them.
Yeah.
Next for me is I've got client meetings all next week, so I am prepping for all of those. Gonna have a lot of that. Gonna have to reschedule a lot. 4th of July is on the way, and then heading out. So yeah, that's where my focus is gonna be. Hopefully sneak in some more writing on my book. I think sneak in some more writing. Yeah, that's it. Just keep working on it. That's it. I've only been working on it for like a month and a half or 2 months, to be honest. So it's not, I think 2 months. So it's still really fast for where I'm at from what I'm hearing. So I like to super achieve. So I'm really hoping to stay on that path, but we'll go from there.
But you're still pulling in all your years of experience.
Oh, totally. Oh my God.
It's the same.
I'm worried when I get into the editing phase, my perfectionism is going to come out and I'm just never going to finish it. That's what I'm worried about. So we'll go from there, but I'm going to leave it. We're going to leave it there. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of What the Biz. Hit us up on whatthebiz.com, our Facebook. And brand new, because Google Podcasts is shutting down, we are importing all of our podcasts into YouTube. They have a nifty little tool that allows us to just auto do that. So if you'd like to just listen and to do stuff on YouTube, we'll be there. Who knows? One of these days we'll start doing video casts or something. But so you can check that out and then leave us a message on the website, whatthebiz.com. We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, see you next week.